Fed and the Prez, well, they're kind of like two brothers who beat the hell out of each other all day, but still, it's kind of my brother. So here's the deal. Trump's been demanding lower rates. I mean, for months now. Jerome at the Fed has come out and said, well, I'm really not going to do nothing about that. So the Fed's position seems pretty much cut and dry. My question is, then why did the Fed just quietly buy $43.6 billion in Treasuries? No fanfare, no quantitative easing, no nothing that might make the president happy. But they did it anyways. Now, $43 billion, that's not chump change, is it? Quietly returning to the quantitative easing trout isn't standard Fed housekeeping. It's kind of like the bank robber returning to the scene of the robbery because he forgot his car keys. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means we should see some relief at the rate pump, right? Even though the Fed's not making a big deal about what they're doing. I bet you didn't know they did this last Friday. It's like Jerome and the Fed are giving in to Trump's demands without acknowledging it. Remember, they're kind of like feuding brothers. Now, financial analyst Lynn Alden, she offers a cautious interpretation. The Fed isn't officially calling it quantitative easing. They're merely reinvesting proceeds from maturing bonds to prevent rapid balance sheet shrinkage. Technically true, but let's not fool ourselves. Buying bonds is buying bonds, whatever label you want to slap on it. Now the flip side, you may have missed this, but Moody's downgraded the U.S. credit from a AAA rating to AA1. So how is this going to affect mortgage rates? Well, if anything, not good, and perhaps the reason the Fed is going into the bond buying business. The downgrade of our credit occurred late last Friday, leading to minimal market movement. However, bond yields did tick up a few basis points last Friday, and as we sit here today, they're still going up. The 10-year yield is right around 4.5% right now, with little action right now in trading. The debt downgrade itself does not have any legal ramifications, meaning that certain banks or countries are not required to sell off their treasuries, which would typically drive rates higher. Now here's a graph of the 10-year treasury securities yield. If you're using this as a rate indicator in all its imperfection, it doesn't paint a pretty picture. If anything, it shows you just how far we have to go to get back to what our audience, buyers and refinancers, think would be rates good enough to act on. So with the Fed and with Moody's, do we call this whole thing a push right now? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Now, my thinking is this. It really depends on what the Fed does going forward. If the Fed continues to buy bonds, then Moody's downgrade will become a moot point. If they don't, then anything's on the table. Anything but rates going down. So this should be a very interesting week. So keep tuned and we'll let you know how the Fed proceeds. And finally, for the good news of sorts, and a sign that inventory is going to come, even more than we have right now. Serious delinquent credit cards, that being unpaid balances for at least 90 days, just hit a 14-year high. Now, I just had a conversation with a client that I got from a list that I purchased of people who had credit scores that were lower than 600 who owned a FHA house for at least a 4-year period. This was precisely the conversation that I had with that client. Turns out, great guy, but it's been a hard few years on him. So what they're going to have to do is sell their house, realize that equity, and live to fight another day. This was a conversation I had with one of my real estate agent partners, one of my recession-proof agents. So yeah, we just got her an opportunity for a listing. She's in contact with a client right now, and really somebody that we can add to our database who's going to be a client going forward in the future. So look for the opportunities in these type of markets because they exist everywhere. They're just not the standard fare road that you're used to traveling. We have to go on the side roads to find where we can really make our mark in this industry today. I hope this helps. Hey, loan officers, far and wide, remember, we have pods today. This is our loan officer crowdsourcing group where we get together and find the best ideas in order to make all of our businesses better. 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Click the link down below and make sure you join.